So I've now watched Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 7 3 times, and I believe I am prepared to give my spoiler-free, followed by spoiler-full reviews. Stick around. Okay, welcome back, everybody. I'm going to be giving my spoiler-free / spoiler-full, and I'll tell you when to turn it off if you're not ready for it, review of Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 7, The Believer. Okay, so this is going to be spoiler-free if you're watching, and I will tell you when to turn it off. There's not much I can discuss in keeping it spoiler-free, but a couple things I will say is, one, when you're watching, I know a lot of us, we already know everything. We've seen it 10,000 times. Don't skip the recap. There's actually something in that it puts it fresh into your mind that you will want later in the episode. That's all I'm going to say about that, okay? So it's not a spoiler, but just don't skip the recap. You'll be glad that you didn't. In Season 2, Episode 6, at the end, we found out that he needs to get to Migs Mayfield, and we kind of got the gist that Cara Dune is going to help. So this episode, as I went into it, I kind of assumed it was going to be, all right, so it's going to be an episode of a prison break. It's not exactly what I thought it was going to be, but I will say this, it was better. The episode does play out very well. The action sequences are really, really good. This is not a filler episode. Okay, it is not. It's a great lead up for next week's season finale. It's done perfectly. Again, with my point of view, somebody else may watch it and go, meh. Is an awesome end scene in this, which lays the groundwork for the finale. The final scene literally makes you go, oh yeah. And don't you love those moments when you can just go kick your butt? But one of the things I found out today is that Season 3 is going to drop on Christmas Day 2021, not October. So that means we're going to have to actually wait an extra 2 months next year. What they're doing is Disney is juggling around their schedule, so we're going to have to plan for the Marvel TV series to be released instead of, say, September and then October and November. They're going to release everything sooner and keep Mandalorian for Christmas Day. Why? I don't know. I guess because now they're trying to get everything lined up with the Marvel, that they could push everything back, try to get it back into the timeline it was supposed to be in the first place. But that's pretty much all I want to say about Episode 7, is that it is great. You need to watch it. And I'm going to be getting ready for the spoiler full section. But if you're going to take off, please, before you do, smash that like button and, subscribe. I really could use the additional likes. That's the way that YouTube works, is the more likes you get, the more they promote your vehicle, your vehicle. Now, take this Ford Pinto. But if you could have 10,000 views. If you have no likes, they're not going to promote it. You could have 10 views and 10 likes, and they promote it. It's a weird algorithm. So, getting ready to switch to the spoilers. If you don't want to hear it, this is your chance. Turn it off. If you're still here, that means you want to hear it. Okay, guys. I'm assuming that you saw the episode, or that you just, whatever. This is a great episode. Okay. It starts off, the first person you actually see is Migs Mayfield. He's, on the planet, basically they're disassembling old TIE fighters. He basically is a scrapyard, and that's all he's going to be doing for the next 50 years, is taking apart old TIE fighters. And the robot comes over and says, salute Marshal Cara Dune, and she's the second person you see, and I'm remanding you into her custody. He's like, wait, where are we going? Dude, you got to tell me where we're going. It's common courtesy, and he's got that little comedy that you associate with the actor itself, which is kind of good. He's got that same snarky attitude, and he finally starts following her, and as they come around, you actually see Slave One up on a hill, and it's still, I know last week we got to see it. It's still awesome. Okay, you just come around and like Slave One, yes. So he goes walking up with Cara Dune, and Boba Fett comes walking down with a new paint job. He's looking fresh. He's looking clean. He looks like he just like stood like this and went through a car wash. It's awesome. But Miggs, he freaks out a little bit. He goes, oh. For a second, I thought you were somebody else that I knew. And then Boba moves over, and here comes Mandalorian. He's like, okay, yep, that's the guy I was afraid of. So remember, Miggs is the one that in The Prisoner in season 1, he's one of the people that did betray him. He didn't have the personal vendetta that the other characters did. He was just along for the payday. He knew what it was going to be. He still considers himself to be a man of honor. He was a soldier, but anyway. So they say we need your help. You used to be Empire, and he's like, yeah, that was a long time ago. And he said, well, you still have access codes and the procedures and protocols. Okay, so let's get going. And so what's the job? I want you to help me figure out where is Moff Gideon's ship. And Miggs looks and goes, Moff Gideon's ship? Just take me back down. That shows you how much that everybody is afraid of Moff Gideon. That he would rather spend 50 years of hard labor than even be associated with anything that's going to be going against Moff Gideon. That's how scared he is. But then they tell him he's got the kid. He's like the little green guy. All right, so if I help you. So he immediately changes his tune. Even though he kind of referred to Grogu as Mando's pet, he still acknowledges it's a child. So it shows you, deep inside, he's not a bad guy. He just follows orders and does stuff for a payday. But, so he says, we got to go to this one planet, which I can't remember the name of the planet. I'm sorry. I'm not good with names. I try. That's why I got to write everything down. So, they think this is a desolate planet. No, there's actually a hidden Empire mining base there. And where they're mining rhodonium. I believe that's how it was pronounced. It's a very, very volatile explosive. It's almost like like supercharged nitroglycerin. You bump it, it blows. And he says, if you get me there, I can get to one of the terminals, and I can use I can find out where Moff Gideon's ship is, and then I'm out of here. Okay. So as they're looking over the compound, how they're going to get in. This had one of my favorite little lines in it is that they're not going to let him go by himself because he used to be ex-Empire. He'll just go in there and go, hey, what's up, guys? And yeah, I'm not going back out there again because I'm re-enlisting. Whatever. He's a war hero. Why is he going to go in and be with other Empire people? They have to have somebody go with him. But they're going to be scanning genetic, they're going to be scanning people, and if anybody that's associated with the Republic, the Alliance, Rebels, anything that they'll know, and they'll be turned over immediately. So they ask Cara Dune, no, you can't because she's known. What about Fennec? No, because she's wanted by the ISW. Okay, and then they ask Boba, and he says, there's a good chance there's a lot of people there that would recognize my face. Because he's a clone. He's every single stormtrooper, every single one of the clone soldiers ever. So anybody that has been down there that's associated with the Empire for a long period of time, they're going to look at his face and go, hey, it's a clone trooper. When you see millions of the same exact guy. Yeah, and that was just a great shout out to the Clone Wars and his lineage that I really laughed at that. And so the Mandalorians, Mando says, I'll go with you. And, Miggs is like, look, I'm quick-witted, fast with my tongue, but even I can't explain somebody walking in there with Mandalorian armor. He's like, well, I'm going with you. And what they wind up doing is they knock out the two drivers of the Juggernaut, which is one of the vehicles that was used in Star Wars Battlefront, I believe, one of the video games. And they use a lot of things from everything, the video games, the books, the comics. They really legitimize everything that is involved in the Star Wars universe. And that's one of the things that is so great to some of the great Star Wars fans here, is we see all these little details. And so Cara Dune gets in, and she knocks out the two drivers, and here comes Mando in their armor, of course, with the driver's armor, which is black. But but he's still got his face covered. And this starts a very good, I'm not going to say dialogue because it's pretty much one-sided as they're driving, of Mandalore and Migs. Migs is basically stating to him, you and I we're very much alike. And Mando's like, you and I are nothing alike. Oh, yes, we are, okay? Because your point of view of what you're fighting for depends upon what side you were on in the first place. Okay? You think the people that fought against the Mandalorians thought that they were wrong? You think the people that were fighting for the Mandalorians knew that they were right? On Mandalore, everybody thought they were right. On Alderaan, everybody thought they were right. But guess what? Neither one of them is there anymore. And that's very telling because it says that in that universe, the planet, to Maigs Mayfield's knowledge, is the planet's not even there anymore. Because Alderaan was completely exploded. Mandalore we knew was poison and unlivable and desolate, but he says that it's not there anymore. And that makes me wonder going forward. And I think in Star Wars Rebels we saw part of the planet exploded away and part of it's still there. I don't know where it stands now. So I'm very curious if that is a clue going forward that the entire planet has been destroyed and Bo-Katan might not even know that. Or maybe that's why she's so ticked off at Moff Gideon. So Miggs points out, he said, I noticed that your beliefs change depending upon how dire your circumstances are. You took your helmet off. I mean, you told me you couldn't take your helmet off. Well, is it you can't take your helmet off or you can't show your face? There is a difference. And there's just silence from Mando. He's I took my helmet off. Regardless if I put a different helmet on, I did take it off. I'm sitting here without my Mandalorian helmet, without my armor that he gave to Cara Dune to hold. Boy, does that show how much he trusts her? Not just can you come help with the kid. This is, I'm giving you my armor. This is my soul. Watch this. I mean, that shows how much he trusts Cara Dune. As they're driving, they get attacked. And remember, they're carrying a full load of Rhydonium, which is extremely explosive. They can't even drive fast because of the potholes. God forbid that in this massive mining operation, they actually pave the roads instead of just leaving dirt and potholes. What do I know? But, they start getting attacked, and one of the guys goes, it's pirates. And my first thought was, is it Hondo? Is Hondo and Naka going to be here too? That would be so cool. No, it wasn't. As it turns out, I don't believe they were pirates. I believe they were trying to blow up the load. They blew up two of the other ones. You can see them exploding before they attacked Miggs and Mando's trailer, Juggernaut. But they were trying to blow it up because I think they knew the Rhydonium was going to be used to turn into weapons, and they were trying to sabotage and stop the Empire from getting their hands on more ammunition. So Mando, of course, has to go up top, and he's fighting with these guys. And what I loved was there was one scene where he actually tries to block a couple of shots with their spear, and it crushes this plastic crappy armor that the stormtroopers have. He forgets, I don't have my Beskar anymore. And you see him, the stuff shatters, and he screams, in pain. And it's right. You're gonna have to pay attention to how you fight. This is not, I can just stand here with my armor and just continue shooting until I eventually hit somebody. He actually shows that he can take on a bunch of people, and it's not the Beskar that makes him bad. All right, so they get inside, and now, of course, they get hailed as all the soldiers are saluting him. You're the one that actually got all the way through with the help of some TIE fighters. And if you notice, even the TIE fighters shoot as bad as the stormtroopers because they damn near blew up the Juggernaut when they came swooping down. I'm glad we didn't have pilots like that in World War II. We would have lost a lot of allies. They were shooting, the first 12 shots almost hit the transport instead of the guys behind him. So they go inside, and Miggs goes, it's in the officer's mess, this terminal that he has to get to. And he goes to walk in, and he recognizes one of the officers. And he says, I'm worried that officer is going to recognize me. I can't do it. Deal's off. Mando's like, no, it's not off. Give me the chip. I'll go in and do it. You can't. It goes by facial, it scans your face. It doesn't say facial recognition. I don't think that it's scanning and then comparing your face to somebody, to the registry. I think it's just scanning so it has a record of who accessed. So that's the other thing is now they know the face on file, on record, of who looked for Moff Gideon's ship. because Mando takes the card, goes up to the terminal, and in that room takes his helmet off. Now, granted, the back of his head is facing everybody, but the machine scans his face. That's how much Mando wants this kid back. He's taking his helmet off in public. Now, this officer that's Miggs knows, hey, soldier, and he goes over and he confronts, and Mando has to turn and talk to him face to face. Mando's showing his face now to this soldier, to the room. He doesn't even know how to answer it. He doesn't know the protocol. The officer says, "What's your designation?" "I'm a pilot." The co-pilot. "No, what's your TK number?" And I'm sitting there thinking, please say TK421. I'll laugh my ass off. But no, Miggs comes up and stands next to him. "No, that's my superior officer, TK589 or whatever, and I'm TK111 or And sorry, he's hard of hearing. He lost his hearing when our vessel lost pressure and such and such." So they say, "Okay, now let me just take my officer. We're going to go do our TPS reports." Which the TPS reports, if anybody ever watched the movie The Office, those were the reports that were driving the guy hated doing. "I got to do the TPS reports. I got to do the TPS reports." It was a little shout out to The Office, and that was great. Anybody who was an Office fan got a nice little chuckle out of that. And the officer says, "Like, wait, I haven't dismissed you yet. Are you the guys that brought in that load? You're the only ones that brought it in. Let's have a drink." So he sits down, and now he's at the table, supposedly having a drink with Miggs and the officer, and he's just sitting. You can see how uncomfortable he is. Like, "I have my helmet off. I have my helmet off. I don't have my helmet on. I don't like my helmet." He doesn't say a word the whole time, and every time he's kind of like, the officer says, "So where are you from?" And he's waiting for an answer, and Mando has no clue how to talk to this guy. And Miggs, he's quick with let's have a toast to what was it? Operation Cinder, which is another one of those operations that was in the Battlefront video game. And he starts discussing with the officer, "That was a really bad day. I was actually there." And he knows the officer's the one that made the call, which cost over 10,000 soldiers, plus the civilians and their children, everybody their lives. And, the officer's like, "Well, they were all heroes to the Empire. Those people had to roll over at some point." He's got this. He's actually from the Game of Thrones, and, man, he is so perfectly cast. He's got this, we're the ones in charge. And he's saying that's that Rhydonium you brought in. We're going to be able to make attacks, and it'll make that one look even more, even worse. And this whole time, you can see, Mando's looking at him like, shut up. And Miggs, he's just like, no. He remembers that day. He remembers all his fallen comrades and how he felt the Empire betrayed him. And this, I got a feeling, is why he left the Empire in the first place. And the look on his face shows that they got this guy cast perfectly as well. And the officer, he says, everybody thinks they want freedom, but what they really want is order. And he picks up his glass and he says, "Long live to the Empire." And Miggs, he looks like he's going to vomit. Like utter loathing and hatred for this man and the Empire and the cause and the lives that they shatter and the families and the children. They're all boiling up, and you can see it in him. It's great. It's like, boom! And he pulls out the blast, just shoots him right there in the middle of the cafeteria. Knocks him backwards. And now Miggs looks at Mando. Mando looks at Miggs like, oops, And then everybody else in the room just kind of looks at him like, what just happened? At which point they're like, before they figure it out, let's kill him. So, boom, 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 boom. And now you've got Mando and a sharpshooter against stormtroopers that can't hit shit. So you can figure out how that works. They work their way out of there. They get up to the top of the... I'm not going to go through the whole battle scene and everything, but they get up to the top. They've got Fennec and Cara Dune acting as sharpshooters that take out the anti-aircraft cannons and anybody that's blocking their path from getting to the roof. They call the Boba Fett. He comes in to drop and pick them up as they're flying up. Miggs asks for one of the sniper rifles, and he targets down from a long distance the Rhydonium. Boom, blows up the whole station. And even Fennec looks and goes, "That was a nice shot." You got a sniper that says, "That was a nice shot." Respect. But now they're taking off, and here come those two TIE fighters. And I'm sitting there thinking, really? 2 TIE fighters against Slave 1. This ought to be interesting. Clink, clink. But no, he does a couple of fancy maneuvers, and he's just going straight up, and the TIE fighters are coming after him. And then he launches what how else do I describe this? A concussion mine? And I heard some people saying in the reviews that this is exactly the same weapon that was used in the video games, and it even had the same sound effect. All I know is it was cool as shit. Okay, he drops his mine, it's coming down, and just goes, boom! It sends out this blue concussion wave and shatters both their ships. It's just what they did to the Razor Crest. Poof. So they land again, they pick up the girls, and Cara Dune says, it's a shame that Miggs died. Prisoner 2556, whatever, died in that explosion. And Amanda's like, yeah, it is a shame that he died. And Miggs is like, what are you talking about? And of course, as fans, we're all sitting there thinking, they're telling you can go. But you got to remember also from his point of view, they could also be saying, we really can't afford to send him back to prison knowing what we know. And knowing that he's seen my face and knowing everything. So we got to get rid of him. Yeah. And they might be discussing right in front of me that they're about to kill me. So you can understand a little bit of concern on his point. He's like, well, what are you talking about? And she's like, yeah, well, the way I saw it, he died in that explosion. Yeah, I think he did. He's like, are you guys telling me to go? Because I'll go. And, Amanda's just like, so he starts walking, turns around like, seriously, you're not going to shoot me in the back? He's like, okay. And he walks off, which means they left him on that planet. But I'm sure a man of his talents, first off, he probably wouldn't mind making a life in one of those villages. The Empire's gone, why not? It's a nice, simple life. Why not? I got a feeling, though, we're going to be seeing him again because he's shown himself to actually be a man of honor, one hell of a shot, and no love of the Empire. This man is not done with this series. Then you see the Slave One taking off. So, do you know where Moff Gideon's ship is? Yes. Okay. Switch scenes. Now, this was the scene. This was probably my favorite scene it beats seeing Boba Fett for the first time. Okay? That's how much I love this scene. The comms officer comes in. Moff Gideon's sitting there on his bridge, surveying the world. They're just waiting at the rendezvous point for this that scientist to come to pick up the asset. And the comms officer comes in, Moff Gideon, you need to see this. And she pulls up a hologram. It's the Mandalorian. Okay? And he's... Oh, God. He repeats exactly what Moff Gideon said in Season 1 to him. He's just standing there and he goes, you have something that I want. You might think that you know what you have, but you do not. And I'm screaming like, holy shit. And you can actually look at Moff Gideon. You see fear in his eyes. Like, whoa. He's doing that to me? Who is this guy? No matter what I do, I can't kill him. And now he's coming after me, and he does not have a clue who he's coming with. Okay, he's coming with a shock trooper and Boba Fett. Dude, you are so screwed, it ain't even funny. All right, I am so looking forward. I have got to figure out how to do the technology to do a reaction video, because I'm off next week. Vacation. Hallelujah. And I want to be up early in the morning when that first streams, and I want to do a reaction video for me. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. But, I mean, you can see my reaction after seeing it 3 times. So, guys, I hope that you enjoyed the show as much as I did. Please hit that like button, that subscribe button. Tune in next week for more of The Mandalorian. And tune in if you're interested in Marvel Comics and Star Wars universe in general during the rest of the week. And I'll try to be posting more videos. Everybody, have a wonderful time. Thank you for joining me, and have a great weekend. I'm out.